So I don't want to dwell so much on that. But we also need to look at all the basics that we need to put on our fingertips so we can survive. I'm looking at that. So first and foremost, we hopefully know that Mr. Tamale Minundi is going to be sorted out. And trust me, I believe he may somehow be lenient to us. Otherwise, what I tell you is happening in the highlight realm, where I never are. His Excellency is dwelling so much on his books and listening to his recorded programs, plus the briefs which have been written, and is using that as an indicator to know where to target and how to target and whom to target. So those are the main things that we are looking at. That is why it is very vital that we sort him out, his side steps, then we can always move forward. And we are not the final people. We are not the final player. We are the middleman players. And that is simply our role, that we get our commission, which oftentimes may be a reasonable and significant commission, but the damage caused can live with each and everything. There is a musician, a local musician, this man who is called Ronald. Ronald, in one of the songs which I like most, is that when a wild wind comes, it brings a lot of refugees. But while it is leaving, it takes even what did not come with. So that is what His Excellency is plotting to do. He's going to sweep across all of the sectors of the economy to clean off this middlemanship, such that he cuts the supply to the masters, many of whom belong to the first family. So that is what we are looking at. That is where our troubles are begun. And who was the whistleblower? The whistleblower was Tamale Minundi. Had he been taken care of earlier, would be playing on a different platform. Things wouldn't be this bad. But as always, you reap what you sow. We saw the negligence. We thought he was very insignificant. Now his significance is overwhelming our capacity to counter him. And even the process of countering him, or even neutralizing him to create a mitigation zone, is also becoming very complex. So if somebody does not come up with a bold move like General, we are destined to lose. And actually intelligence is revealing that this gentleman is closely guarded by His Excellency. He's closely guarded by His Excellency, and he moves with gadgets that keep passing real-time communication to the central command. That is what I heard, that a man who handles such technology must be moving with a gadget which keeps a radius of protection, so he can know who's following him, who is ahead of him, who is sideways, for his safety. And it is a safety manning that, just like they normally guard His Excellency when His Excellency is traveling from point A to point B. So these are the things we are looking at, my colleagues. So outside this, I don't think we can prosper. But inside this, by devising the best solution to this, I believe we can move on. Certainly, I know we can move on. We cannot stall, not at this time. But that assurance can only be given to you if General works expeditiously to see that Tamale Minundi is a problem no more. Otherwise, when I started the Fury, I've been listening to all his programs. All the recent times is even becoming more furious. And yet he is fully aware, because he normally communicates he talks about the information we communicate when in our closed meetings. So what does that imply? He knows what we are doing. And he really can follow suit, but the safety behind it, because these are likely intelligence operations. If you simply move boldly without brains, you may end up colliding with controversies. Yeah? For example, the earlier plots where you thought you would just load cash and drive it to his residence, how sure are you that intelligence cannot intercept you? Military cannot intercept you. USFs cannot intercept you. If he knew what we are plotting, don't you think His Excellency too had to know about it? Anyhow, that is also put aside. My colleague had a challenge he wanted to talk about. So you can come and briefly share. I didn't want your voice to be... So if you have some skill, if you can twist it a bit because you are widely known, I think it may help. You never know. The level of espionage, anything can happen. You could be having a short discussion. Thank you very much, people. Yes, I'm glad. Let me relax a bit as he delivers something, because he was talking of a problem, but I don't want to share it. So maybe, can I share it for you? Yes, okay, now he says I share. Now we have a challenge. So here is the challenge. I want everybody to talk about it. We need a quick solution. Now there is a very big trap that is moving. This very big trap. My colleague here owns a hotel where quarantine was done. So the hotel was shortlisted, but was briefly used before other centers were opened and the patients or suspected patients were transferred. But the contract had been signed already. So much as no services were rendered, the payment was done. Now, most of the accountability has leaked to Mr. Tamara Mirundi, just like some of it has already gone to Lieutenant Colonel Nakarema and the pending receipt by the president. Now our colleague here was paid close to 5 billion Uganda shillings. And out of the accountability of so many such things that happened, the central concentration of Mr. Tamare has been this colleague, where he has talked about it all and talked so much about it. Now, His Excellency called him to make a clarification. And also, Mr. Emmanuel Katongole was also consulted by His Excellency. Even the minister, actually the entire top committee of the COVID-19 task force were tasked by His Excellency to explain such occurrences with such discrepancies. How could somebody be paid with an unused facility? So now, that is becoming the most favorite song of Mr. Tamare Mirundi. He has really created it as a basis to his agitation. Now, that is the problem. And the possible solution is to summon Mr. Tamare Mirundi or find somebody who can bring contact to both of them so they can talk either on phone or on what, such that possibly, if you can get a portion, how much are you giving out? At least he can get 30% and hand it over to Tamare, just for the sake of leaving that point aside, silencing about that particular point, because it is now becoming too much and most of this money had been spent already. Now recording it and His Excellency demanding for it is going to be another problem, and it may affect his political career and the trust with His Excellency, because now His Excellency is so much concentrated on finding out how exactly man has been lost, because people have always been saying that these are allegations, false allegations, just to soil other characters. And really, His Excellency believed that for quite some years, until of recent realizes that people are thieves. People are thieves, and that is the fury he has always carried now. He cannot forgive anybody involved in such a thing. So we are having such candidates, and our colleague here is one of them, at the central focus of His Excellency for the worst punishment in the most recent times, as His Excellency predicts that starting the new financial year, anything short is going to be eliminated from the system and from his closeness and from the privilege. So that is where we are. So any of you who knows how to get in touch with Mr. Tamale Mirundi, please, after this meeting, you can decide, talk together, and we see how to go about that. So, colleague, that is one of the challenges and the reason we have convened here. Now, for last but not the least, we have, excuse me, I'm saying we have our new initiates. I have to tell you that things are likely to change, because His Excellency is restructuring and re-strategizing. The political temperature is going to rise. And now His Excellency is going to be looking for relevancy of the people, relevance of each individual character in the political build-up for His Excellency. Afandem also needs a team that is going to front run the campaigns for His Excellency, and the self-marketing. He's going to be marketing himself for future elections, for future political, whatever you call it. So it is now in the cooking. Now we need to find the solace in relevance in one of these wings. Now for the younger ones, who are slightly below the middle age, I think we are going to recommend you to work with the Afandemos. And the middle age and above middle age are going to be working with His Excellency. You need that marketing closeness, that His Excellency get used to you. And in the brief interactions you could be having, you talk about yourself. None of you are highly educated. You went through international schools, international universities, you have the best education attained. And therefore you deserve also the best. So we are going to make the leaks into His Excellency's consciousness. So that is going to be very helpful for the build-up of your future careers. So we are going to be grouping you. That is, we make it this weekend, like a Sunday. You could come to my residence in Kororo. Then we see how to group you. I'm going to send that list to His Excellency. I'm going to team you up. And I believe there are those colleagues you have. I'm not talking about your girlfriends and the boyfriends, but serious colleagues who are very upright upstairs, widely focused, and very visionary. Those are the people I would like to meet at my residence. So you can make it and come over this Sunday at around 2 p.m. I'll be waiting for you people. Now, I also have another team, but that discussion is going to be held on during another arrangement. For now, we are going to keep it at that. Now, I personally haven't talked to to General from Nakaseke. But to my colleagues around, we have a process in a build-up to settle our stumbling block, which many of you know very well. You know it very well, but I think we have a groundbreaking solution that is going to see us move forward. So, we have to prepare for the future, and more so for the nearer future. That immediately after this level, how are we going to repackage ourselves? One, to avoid the espionage. I don't trust this Zoom technology. And I hope, I don't want to be an addict to that, because with the technology, anything can be compromised. But anyhow, while we might not be able to meet, we shall be using it. Back to my point. Immediately after Mr. Tamara Mirundi is sat aside and is no longer very hostile to us, much as he cannot pause it, but just a reduction of 30% is enough to see us flourish, to see us at peace. Just a reduction of 30% from his current level is very okay, and yet he will remain in a close service and a loyal service to His Excellency.